Welcome to Chinos YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing about an interesting topic called algebraic fraction. Now, what is really algebraic fraction? Well, I can define it as fractions which contains at least one variable or unknown. Now, let me put down that statement into writing. So let me write. I will say these are fractions which contains at least one variable or unknown. So that is actually what we call algebraic fraction. So without wasting much of our time, let's move on to simplifying algebraic fraction. So we take it from the simplest. Simplifying algebraic fractions. Okay, so let's move. So let's try and simplify algebraic fraction. Let's go. So let's say, for example, we are asked to simplify. So I'm going to write like 3 questions down. Simplify A. We have AD all over 2A. You can see they involve letters. B. If you are asked to simplify AB all over AC. Then the C part of the work, if you are asked to simplify 3A squared B, then all over 6AB. So this is what we are asked to simplify. Now let's move on. Solution to this question. So we take it one after the other. So now let's take the first one. That's the A part of the work. So let's go. So we have it to be AD all over 2A. So what do we have here? This A at the numerator, we cancel the A at the denominator. So at the end, we have our result to be D all over 2. And that is the simple answer to that question. Now let's move on to the second one. If you are given something like AB all over what? AC. So here we also observe that the A at the top can also cancel the A at the bottom. So our final result here will also become, let's go, we have it to be B all over C, and that is the perfect answer. So let us move on to the third question. So what do we have? Okay, so let's say we are given something like 3A squared B all over 6AB. So here I also observe something here, that this B, you can see B at the numerator can cancel the 1 at the denominator. I also observe here that 3 can go here 1, 3 can divide 6, we have it to be 2. So here also we can see we have A squared at the top, we have A at the bottom. So the A at the bottom, we cancel one of the A at the top. So in that case, let me use the red ink. So the A here, we cancel one of these A that is at the top. So in that case, our result finally becomes, we have only one A at the top and 2 at the bottom. And that's definitely the answer to that question. Now let us move on to the second question for today's class. So if you are asked to simplify, question A. Okay, we are given to be 15m all over 20 mn. So this is also quite very easy. So we can just use the m here. You can see m at the numerator, cancel the 1 at the denominator. So what else again? I also notice here now that okay, I can use 5 to divide. So 5 can divide 15, we have it to be 3. 5 can divide 20, then we have it to be 4. So in that case, our final result here becomes, well, let me draw my line to make my work nice and neat. Okay, so in this case here now, our result now becomes 3 because we have only 3 left at the top and 4n at the bottom. So our result is the same thing as 3 all over 4n. That's good. So that is the perfect answer to that question. Let's move on to the B part of the question. Let's say, for example, we are given 108 x to divide 144 x squared. Okay, so what are we going to do here now? In this case here now, I notice here now that, okay, the highest common factor here that can divide 108 and also divide 144 is actually 36. So now let's divide that. So we have here to be 36 goes in 108. We have it to be 3. Now 36 goes in 144. We have it to be 4. I also understand here now that we can cancel one of these x. X can cancel one of these x that is at the bottom. So our final answer finally becomes 3. We have 3 at the top. Then all over 4 and one single x that is remaining at the bottom. And that is definitely the answer for that question. Now let's go on to the C part of the question. So let's say we are given something like 4ab c all over 8a squared. Okay, so how are we going to solve this type of question? Let's move on. Okay, so let's say we have it like that. So let me divide my bulk to make my work nice and neat. So I have it like this. Let's move. So here now I observe something here very, very well. I observe that 4 can divide 8 to give us 2. So let's quickly divide that. So we have it to be 4 goes here, 1, 4 goes in 8. We have it to be 2. So I also notice here now that A can divide one of these A. We have 2 of them at the bottom. So A, we cancel one of these A. We have 1 A remaining at the bottom. So what else again? The final result now becomes, so we have only BC at the top and 2 and a single A that's remaining at the bottom. So we have our result to be BC all over 2A. And that's definitely the answer to that question. Now let us move straight to what we call multiplication of algebraic fractions. So let's go. So let me write it like multiplying algebraic fraction. Multiplying algebraic fraction. Let's go. So, if you are given something like this, watch out. Let's say we are given A all over B to multiply by C all over D. This is quite very easy. Since what is present here cannot divide, you can see that diagonal cannot divide, and this cannot divide also, then we can multiply the top. We have the right to multiply the top and also multiply the bottom to the bottom. The top to the top, then bottom to the bottom. So A times C, we have it to be AC all over B times D, we have it to be BD. And that's definitely the answer to that question. So now let's move on again. Let's say we are given this question to solve. Find. Okay, question A. If you are given something like this, A all over B to multiply by B all over 2. Let me write all the question out. B, if you are given N all over 3 to multiply by 6. Then the C question, let us say 2 all over M all squared. Okay. Then the next thing again, let me say D. If you are given something like A squared to divide 2, okay, let me say multiply by 4 all over. Then this is actually A cube. Okay, let me write the fifth one. Let me draw my line to make my work nice and neat. So I will have it to become, the E question is actually A all over B to multiply by B all over C, then C all over what? A. So let's take this question, the solution, one after the other. So let's go. Solution to the first one, quite very easy. Okay, so if you are given A all over B to multiply by B all over 2. So actually here, this B can just cancel this B. So we have 1, 1. So we are left with only A. So A times 1, we have it to be A. Then 1 times 2, we have it to be 2. So our final answer here becomes A all over 2. So we are through with that question. Now let us move on to the B part of the question. The B, we are given N all over 3 to multiply by 6. Wow, this is quite very easy. So 3 can divide here 1, 3 can divide 6. We have it to be 2. So our result here now becomes, let's go. Let me divide my board. So we have our result now to become, let me shift my board a bit up. Okay, so our result will now become 2 times n. We have it to be 2n. So let's write our 2n all over. Let me write it properly. 2n all over 1. So 2n all over 1 is still the same thing as 2n. So we can have it to be 2n. And that is the answer to that question. Now let us go to the C part of the question. If you are asked to simplify 2 all over m, but everything is all squared. Everything is all squared. So this time around, so I need to square the 2 and also square the m, because you can see this square enclose everything. So 2 squared, we have it to be 4. That's 2 times 2, 4. M squared, we still have it to be m squared. So let's leave it like this. And that is the answer to that question. Now let us move on to the D part of the question. Let's go. The D part of the question. Okay, so let's say if you are given something like this. So D, we are asked to simplify a squared all over 2 to multiply by 4 all over this actually a cube. So you notice here now that we have a squared on top and we have a cube. So the a here, there are 3 in numbers. The a here, there are 2 in numbers. So what will happen here is that, okay, let me just remove a squared. We remove 2 of these a's. So we have 1 more a remaining. So here also, I notice here now that 2 can divide here. 2 goes here, 1, 2 goes in 4. We have it to be 2. So remember, we have 1 a remaining at the bottom here. So in that case, our final answer becomes 2 over 1 single a. And that is the answer to that question. Now let's go back to the E part of the question. So if you are given a all over b to multiply by b all over c, then to multiply by c all over a. So this is quite very easy. The a, we just cancel this a out. I also notice here that the c can also cancel this c out. So c goes here 1, c goes here 1. So don't forget that the b can also cancel this b out. So b goes here 1, b can cancel this b 1. So what are we left with? The final answer will give us 1. And that is the answer to that question. Now let's move on to the next aspect of fraction. So we now have it as dividing algebraic fraction. So let's go. Dividing. So we are through with multiplication. Let's take dividing algebraic fraction into consideration here. Algebraic fraction. Find. Now question A. If you are given something like this, a all over b to divide 3. Now the b question, we have 4 to divide 2 all over x. The c question, if you are given 3a all over 4 to divide a squared divided by 2. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth question. The deep part of the question, 14fg all over 33 to divide, this is actually 35 FGH to divide 22. Okay, so the fifth question here for today's class is 8a to divide, this is 5mn, now divided by 32b all over, this is 15mn. So let's take the question one after the other. So solution to the first one. So if you are given something like a all over b to divide 3, so what are we going to do? So don't forget that this is actually 3 over 1. So in that case, we have it to be a all over b, then to multiply by flip, don't forget 1 all over what? 3. So in that case, our results will now become, let's move. So since this diagonal cannot divide and this diagonal also cannot divide, so what are we going to do? We multiply the top to the top, then the bottom with the bottom. So actually we have it to be a all over 3b. So our result here becomes a all over 3b. Let me write it properly. Okay, so that's the answer to the first question there. Now let's move on to the second question. We are given 4 divided by, this is actually 2 all over x. So this one we can also change the division sign, but during that process, make sure that we flip this up. You go up, then you come down. So we are going to do that now. So this is actually multiplied by x all over 2. So I notice here now that 2 can go here, 1, 2 can go in 4. We have it to be 2. So our final answer here definitely becomes 2x. And that is the answer to that question. Then the C part of the question, we have it to be 3a to divide 4. So this is divided by, this actually a squared all over 2. So let's go on again. So don't forget to change the division sign. After changing, then you flip the expression in front of it. So let's move on. Let's go. So I will have my work to become something like this. This is actually 3a all over 4. Then this is multiplied by, this is actually 2 all over a squared. Okay. So I notice here now that a can cancel one of these a. You know, we have 2 a's here. So it will cancel one of them. What again? I also notice here now that 2 goes here, 1, 2 goes in 4. We have it to be 2. So our final answer here becomes 3 times 1. We have it to be 3. Then 2 times a, we have it to be 2a. And that is the result of that question. Now let's move on to the fourth one. So we have it to be 14fg to divide 33. Now, divided by 35 fg all over 22. So what are we going to do here? Let's go on. So in this case, we have 14fg all over 33. So let's remove the division sign. Then 22 will come up. Divided by 35fgh. So let's go. So what do we have here again? Let me divide my board. So in this case again, I notice here that, 11 can divide 22. We have it to be 2. 11 can divide 33. We have it to be 3. I also notice here now that the FG and this FG at the bottom can also cancel out. So the FG cancel this FG. So we are left with H. Okay. So I also notice here now that 7 can divide 14 to give me 2. 7 can divide 35 to give me 5. So our final result here now becomes 2 times 2. We have it to be 4, then all over, then 15H. So that is the answer to that question. Now let's go to the E part of the question. So if we are given 8A divided by, I'm writing out the question back again. Okay, now divided by, this is actually 32B all over 15mn. So let's move on. So here also we write our 8A all over 5mn. Now divided, change your divide to multiplication sign. Then you flip, allow the 15 to come up. Then this is actually mn all over. Then the 32b will come down. So let's start dividing. So mn will cancel this mn. Okay. So what can I notice again? I also notice here now that 5 can go here 1. 5 goes in 15. We have it to be 3. What again? I also notice here that this 8 can cancel the 32. 8 goes here 1. 8 goes in 32. We have it to be 4. So our final answer becomes, so let's go. Divide my board. So in this case here now, our result becomes 3 times A. We have it to be 3A all over. Then look at this. This is 4 and B remaining here. All over 4B. And that is the answer to that question. So we have come to the end of today's class. Now let me write out the assignment for today's class. So please make sure that you share. So number 1, we have it like this. Simplify A. 10AB all over 9xy to divide by 4A all over 3x. Now let me write the second question. So let's say we have it like this. Let's move. The B1. So we have 16 CD squared E to divide 27. Now here I'm using division. I'm giving 2 division and 2 multiplication question. So we have 8D to divide. This is actually 45. Okay, so number 2 question. Simplify. So if we are given A, this is 16H all over 21K. Now to multiply by 35K all over 32M. Okay, so now let's go on to the B question. We are asked to simplify. It's a bit technical, which is 3 whole number 3 all over 5 am squared x. So don't forget to convert this one to improper fraction. Then you start your job. So this is 5 all over. This is 6my. Thank you very much.